What is it, whiny cat? Yo there. Yes, Henry, I heard about that bill. I guess the question is, will it pass? It probably will, because Washington State is filled with gun grabbers. So, yep, well, they're getting what they're voted for. People wonder why I'm a baste maker. Stuff like that. Oh, I made the mistake of getting a Quick Trip chicken pot pie. It was good, but every time I eat one, it feels like there's a rock in my stomach. So I probably shouldn't eat them. I was a fool. Any updates on the truck? No, I haven't pulled the trigger on one yet. I don't know. I was thinking about it. I don't know if that one's still available. I had a couple different people tell me to avoid a COVID car. I can kind of see their point. What? South Australia. Wow. It's tomorrow over there. It's probably, what, Tuesday evening over there? No Wawa? No, we don't have any Wawas here. Oh. Don't eat rocks. Yeah, you know, that's my problem, eating rocks. 1 p.m.? Oh, okay. That's not too bad. What? You know, I've had a lot of people recommend the Houston Arcade Expo to me. Maybe one of these years. I heard it's a big party show. No, Bud, stop. Stop. Leave that alone. Build tunnels beneath it? Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't I? The original owner of this house told me there was a tunnel in the backyard. But I should have asked him about that more, because I was like, what? I don't know why there would be. But of course I think about it, it's like, where would it be? I can put all my 3D printers in the tunnels. Oh, does 8-Bit Guy go to the Houston Arcade Expo? Actually, fair drive from Dallas. An empty. I don't think there would be a septic tank in a city, would there? I think there would always be city sewer. Right? They'd have a sewer back in the 50s, wouldn't they? My one neighbor still goes to his church. Maybe I could ask her to get me the details before he dies. Tell me about the tunnel. The tunnel leads to Ark. But 8-Bit Guy has the Time Shock Arcade, right? And you can buy all of his merch there. That's what his latest video said. I've been debating whether or not to make a video about the 3D printer laws that these stupid states are trying to pass. The problem is I can't make a video about it without being political, which I try not to do on YouTube. I don't know. I see people complaining about it online. It's like, you guys didn't give any shits about the Second Amendment until now, so I don't know. There's a bit of Schadenfreude with it, if you ask me. Ground penetrating radar? Yeah, like in Jurassic Park. You get your first look at this giant turkey as it is about to kill you. The point is, you are alive when Bud starts to eat you. Da 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 da. He's eating greenies. He does eat greenies. Wait, GST, are you being sarcastic? Because I've definitely mentioned political stuff on the live chat. You bred Velocibuds. Ben Heck Goonie tunnels? Yes. Pinches of power! What? Where is Bud? Well, he was in here, but now he's in the other room mewing. I'm sure he'll be in here eventually. I did feed him, so. There was a Jurassic Park commercial in the Super Bowl. Oh. Ah, man. Somehow I got heartburn from that thing. I used to have a big problem with heartburn, but I haven't for a long time. I guess I just got to stop eating those chicken pot pies. I have to resist their sexy allure. You see that ad where, like, what was it, Coca-Cola made like an AI ad? They can probably get away with it because any ad agency would like to kill to work with Coca-Cola, so no matter what they do, they won't be canceled by creatives. Coca-Cola doubles the price of their sugar water, but then they use AI for an ad. Bud, come here, bud. Come here, bud. Bud, jump in your box. Go to your home. Jump in the box. What's in the box? It's Bud. Can you oh, thanks for the super chat, Taiwan Brown. Can you improv a scene of the 8-bit guy reacting to Billy Mitchell entering the Electric Shock Arcade? Well, sure. Wow, it's another great day at my arcade. Hey, will I make a YouTube video this year? I don't know. Oh my God, it's Billy Mitchell, the greatest player ever. Hello, 8-bit guy. I am Billy Mitchell. I would like to set a world record on one of your games. Oh, okay. But no one can be here when I do it. All the windows have to be closed. And I will do it myself. And then I will give you a crappy VHS tape of it, even though it is the year 2026. Oh, this sounds legit. Let's do it. My arcade will be famous. Could you get the world record on Petsky robots? I don't think I can do that. I am Billy Mitchell. Yes, high fructose corn syrup, correct. Hello, Mr. Ditchmer. Very blurry VHS with weird time skips. But all you gotta do is hire some like fraud electronics guy to like give expert testimony, then apparently it will be accepted in court. I don't know if Petsky Robots has an entry in Twin Galaxies. Yes, the Commander X16 has a special connector to hook it up to a crappy VHS recording deck for recording all your totally legitimate world records. Hello, you absolute legends. Eight-bit hot sauce. Maybe he can work in conjunction with Billy Mitchell. And then 8-bit guy will make like a diagram of how the hot sauce works. The capsaicins use up 8 kilobytes of memory space on your tongue. Yeah, the fact that Billy Mitchell thinks that he can fool the internet is is very cute. First rule of the internet. Nobody can fool the internet. I would like to know how you can make a CNC machine not make a gun. I really wish the dumb fuck lawmaker who doesn't know anything could explain that to me. I'd really like to know how that's supposed to work. Maybe I should make a video on it. Four white Series S? Series S? You mean, are they the core controllers? Oh, I can always use more controllers. Why is he always so whiny and bitter? I don't know. I wonder if 8-Bit Guy would make a video on that subject. Maybe Louis Rossman will save us all, but... Ben and 8-Bit Guy doing an episode of the Second Amendment. Yeah, well, you know, it's perfectly legal for American citizens to build their own guns. Maybe someone should tell that to the people in New York and Washington State. I don't even trust Louis Rossman anymore. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, well, there's a reason for that, but if I say it's there's no way to say it without being political. It's kind of like solipsism, like the only person that you know isn't compromised is yourself. Can you do the 8-Bit Guy talking to Arnold Schwarzenegger about solar panels? Sure. Hello, welcome back to the 8-Bit Guy, formerly known as the iBook Guy. Today I've got a special guest, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Thank you for having me on your show, 8-Bit Guy. What is 8-Bit? I don't even know what that means. What is it? Is some sort of girly measurement system? Like the Dewey Decimal System? Thank you for coming on the show, Arnold. I've seen all your movies, and I think I like guns even more than you do. I don't actually like guns. I just like to make money on movies that have guns in them, even though I own a tank. Wow, that's exciting. Would you like to come to my arcade and meet Billy Mitchell? Billy Mitchell sounds like a little girly man. The 8-Bit Guy's channel started... Yeah, doesn't he have, like, gun videos on his channel? I'm surprised YouTube's okay with that, because YouTube hates guns. Yeah, he is like a huge gun nut. Let's see. We need one of these guys. Sorry, officer. I lost all my 3D printers in a boating accident. Why would I make a pew pew? I'm an American citizen with no felonies. I could just buy a gun. Yeah. You know, I have actually thought about that on many occasions, like trying to 3D print, but it's so stupid because I know it wouldn't be a very good gun. Like, you'd probably fire it once and then it would be done. Oh, it's so stupid. An airsoft channel? Yeah, that sounds about right. Ugh. Oh yeah, you're right. They could have an entire conversation in German. Because Arnold's from Austria. Arnold could go to his trivia night and win. He's a performative gun nut. Yeah, the person most likely to get killed by a 3D printed gun would be the person trying to use the 3D printed gun. But again, a lawmaker wouldn't know that because, you know, these lawmakers, none of them have ever fired a gun before. None of them have ever used a 3D printer. They're dumb. If they were smart, they wouldn't be politicians. They'd have real jobs. Dumb dummies. Yes, you're right. That probably wouldn't be a good idea. Oh, oh, hopefully that pot pie wears off. Get in my belly. Oh, thanks for another super chat. Can you do Seinfeld reviewing the Commander X16? Okay. What's the deal with all this through-hole components? I haven't seen that many through-hole components since the 80s. I know. I took it apart. It was filled with components. I know, right? What's the deal with that? Did somebody say through-hole components? Kramer, have you seen this? Oh, yeah, I've seen it, Jerry. It's really weird. There's through-hole components everywhere. I'm out of here. That's it. I'm investing in the X16. How can you invest in the X16? You don't have any money. Why makes you think I don't have any money, Jerry? Because we don't have a job. Seinfeld kind of sounds like Louis Rossmann. Well, yeah, but Taiwan Brown, the thing is, it's illegal to counterfeit money. It's not illegal to build guns. Like, there's nothing in the First Amendment, or there's nothing in the Bill of Rights that says you have a right to print money. Only the government gets to do that. Yeah, scanners detect money. Also, like, software does too. So if you try to like scan like $100 bill into Adobe, it'll like blur it or something. But again, counterfeiting money is illegal. I guess you could say, you know, why can't you just well, I don't know. I guess you could say maybe it's fair use or something, but that probably doesn't really work with federal stuff. What the hell? What in the fart is going on? Nobody in that show could have afforded any of those apartments with any of their jobs. See also Friends. Ugh. A Seinfeld game for the N64? Really? Ugh. Ah. This X-Acto knife blade is probably getting dangerously dull. Into the garbage it goes. I think there's a lot of rug pulls in the world. I always feel like the feds are watching me. Were you bullied at school today? Ugh, this one's kind of rough. What the hell's going on? Oh, crap. There's a printing defect on this. Ah, crap. Can you see that? See how it's smushed? So when this goes into it, see how it protrudes? Ah, damn it. Lame. Oh, thanks for the super chat, Recliner. Good stream title, Ben Alt J fan at all? Alt J. Who's Alt J? I don't even know my own reference, apparently. Do you ever get fan letters from people who order these controllers? Actually, the guy that I built 4 of them for called me this morning. And he's from Scotland, so it was a little difficult understanding him, but I got the gist of it. And because he was just wanting to make sure that the money went through. And he did say, he's like, I'd like to thank, about, in a thick accent, he's like, I don't know. See, other people do this. I'm not the only one who does this. But I think I have gotten feedback that depending on what you need it for, like some people think that these are the best ones. But yeah, the guy this morning, yeah, he was like, "Oh, thank you for doing this. You know, the big companies don't do it." And I'm like, "Well, actually they do, but I've also gotten feedback that their controllers are like just too generic or too general purpose versus like this specific need." Yeah. But no, I don't really like it. Not really. Well, actually, sometimes like if I'm emailing someone about like a repair or something, then they'll be like, "Oh, I hope you never stop doing this," or, you know, "Thank you for doing this." And I'm like, "Well, hey, you paid for it, so your money is the thanks." But yeah. I know I didn't ask him that. I just know a lot of people that buy these buy extras to have spares or to like leave at their friend's house. I've gotten that feedback before because I have. I can't remember. It's like someone recently like ordered 2 or ordered an extra one, and I did actually ask them. I was like, "Hey, I've always wondered this. Why do you want 2 of these?" Because I was like, it's actually kind of common. And I've never really known why. So I was like, I asked one of them, and that's what he says. Like, "Oh, I want a spare one in case it breaks. I don't have any downtime. Or I'll leave it at a friend's house or something." Although sometimes if people are like at institutions or something, they'll buy like multiple, of course. I reviewed the first Xbox accessibility controller, like that white one. I think I still have it. Yeah, the issue with that one is that it was very general purpose, where there's just 2 big buttons, and then pretty much anything you'd want it to do, you would have to plug in like an extra controller for, or because normally what they do is they have like those 1/8" headphone jacks, and they use those for like on-off switches. So at the top of it, it had like, I don't know, 15 or 16 plugs, like, oh, this is A, B, X, Y, up, down, left, right. So you'd have to plug like this octopus worth of things into it to actually make it. How Fiend Was My Valley? Well, I mean, How Green Was My Valley was like a book or a movie or something from long ago. You're making your website lag? Do you ever get ordered? Oh, yeah, I've built them for Walter Reed before, and yeah, I had one vendor that wanted me to become like a military vendor, but there was like really hoops to go through. But yeah, I've definitely gotten them from like you know, U.S. military stuff in the past. Actually, I went to Walter Reed once. Not because I was injured or anything. I think I went there with Mark Bartlett from Able Gamers like many years ago, and I remember. Now that was actually around the same time as the Walter Reed like scandal, and I still remember what one of the doctors told me. So this would have been probably like 2008. So this was still when the, you know, totally won Iraq war was still producing casualties. Well after the mission was accomplished. But I remember one of the doctors saying that a big part. Oh, and thanks for the super chat. Who is that? Recliner. Thanks for the super chat, Recliner. One of the doctors was saying that a big part of recovery was helping people get back to their normal lives. And he was like, nowadays, or this would have been, you know, again, you know, God damn it, many years ago, he's like, you know, everyone that was getting blown up in Iraq was like probably like my age or younger, right? So he's like, we've got all these people now, and when they want to get back to their normal lives, for so many of them, that involves video games. So he's like, it's important because, like, even if it's not necessarily like a a physical therapeutic. It's something that allows them to regain something from their old life. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Xbox this year? Yeah, I've heard they might make a new controller. Because I would be interested about that. Because I want to like take the time and like try to like make these simpler so I would like to like lower the price on these just to say fuck you to inflation. Because I don't know. I mean, well, it is a side gig, but it's right now. Well, I haven't changed the price in many years. I can't even remember the last time I raised the price. It was probably like 2018. So right now they're $350 because I have to do all this manual labor. But the thing is, you know, it's if you like look at the. I mean, I'll be straight with you. Like when I do this, I make like $125 an hour. But it's not like this is like my main job. So it's not like I'm making that, you know, 40 hours a week. But you know, it takes time, and I am, you know, a professional builder, so $125 is actually what I charge for any of my engineering work. And I actually haven't raised that in a long time either. Although I haven't done as much outside work lately because I've been doing pinball full time for over 2 years now. Very much looking forward to starting a new game. Very soon. Yeah, it is. Well, Michael Wilson, yeah, well, I've told this story before, but I guess I'll tell it again. Yeah, so I did like, you know, I did like that Atari stuff, and then I think I did do some modified controllers just for other things. I think I did one for a movie. I did one for I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell, even though I've never seen the movie. I can't remember if that was. I think that was after I started doing this. But the first time, it was I'm pretty sure it was 2016. I'm sorry, oh God, 2006. And that was back when I was known for like the portable Xbox. And some guy emailed me and he's like, "Hey, I saw your website. I lost one of my arms in an IED explosion. Now I can't play video games." And I was thinking, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Never thought about that. Because, yeah, like when you have like anything like that, like even something like tying your shoe, like we take for granted how difficult that is. It's actually, you know, fairly it's a fairly dexterous operation. And so he was like, "You think you could figure out a way to make a controller I could use with just my left hand or whatever it was?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a very interesting problem." And so I did that, and then yeah, it just kind of snowballed from there. And then I think that actually led to doing the controller monitors for game developers, because once you get like into the algorithm, it's like, oh look, this guy's modifying controllers. And then I had someone from Infinity Ward contact me about, you know, "I've seen your controller work. Do you think you could make something that would test latency with controllers?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I could probably do that." And then that also turned into something I've done. I mean, I haven't built as I did quite a few of those too. I don't usually talk about it. I don't stream it or anything, but I've done many of those. Like, I don't know, maybe like 40. I can't remember. Like, I've built a lot of those for like Microsoft, Ubisoft. Rockstar has bought a lot of them. EA never did. Activision. I think. Well, yeah, Infinity Ward. Actually, wasn't that long ago. It was like, God, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Somebody from Infinity Ward emailed me. They're like, "Hey, can you fix the original thing that you built?" And I'm like, "Why? It's Xbox 360." And I can't remember. They said there was some reason why they were still using it. And I was like, "Okay." And so they sent it in, and I'm like, "Wow, hello, old friend." Yeah, and I built several of them for Raven here in Madison as well. So like, Activision and Microsoft have bought a lot as well. Yeah, I remember I built quite a few for Rockstar, like in the like early 2010s probably. Like I think that was still in the 360 era. The most impressive one that I ever got was John Carmack emailed me, and he was like, I would like to buy one of your latency testers. And I saw the email. I'm like, oh my god, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. John Carmack is like 50 times more intelligent than me, and he's asking me to build something. It was kind of humbling. But you know what? I didn't geek out because you have to be professional, right? So like when you're dealing with anything like that, this is advice I've given people many times. It's like so if John Carmack emails you and wants to buy something, you just say, you basically say 3 lines. I always say it should be a 3-line email. It's also if you like cold call someone, right? And I think he was the same way. He was like, hey, I saw this device. Could you build us one? And what would be the timeline? And I'm like, sure. And I also gave him back an equally terse email because you don't want to waste people's time. The funniest one like that was I had Trent Reznor email me once, and he wanted a portable Atari. And his email, he actually said, "Hi, I'm Trent Reznor from," and then he actually explained who he was. And I thought that was really funny. It's like, oh, of course I know, of course I know who you are, Mr. Reznor. Yeah. So yeah, actually, I think Valve has a couple, or had a couple of them too. Do you ever get items you get sent back in really gross condition? Yeah, because I repair these controllers for people, and I would say most of them are usually pretty decent. There's definitely ones we can tell they've been using substances, or they'll have like Cheeto dust. Like really, really gross ones. Thankfully, it's not too many. But usually what you'll find is like food residue stuck in these crevices. And I just clean it up with, Q-tips and alcohol. And it is what it is. I mean, it could be worse. I could be a doctor or a nurse. They deal with far worse than that. But thankfully, I would say it's a minority of repairs. Resi gun. Well, the way I look at it is the amount of hours required for initial design, production of the parts, custom boards. Yes, you now have enough supply and printers ready to go and orders come in. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just print parts like during the day while I work from home. Because, like, for instance, like these trigger assemblies I'm pretty low on, so I should probably print some more of those. Kind of my rule of thumb is if it takes me like 2.5 hours to build a controller, the 3D printed parts cannot exceed 2.5 hours to print. Even though I'm not doing it like linearly, I still try to keep that timeline. I just think it's prudent. There are different George Bush. 2 George Bush references. 2 Bushes, no waiting. What are your customer demographics? Yeah, actually, a lot of women do order these, but I think it's usually like for their boyfriends. Because despite what the video game industry tells you, like most console gamers are still men. For whatever, like in the past, people would, I think maybe before I had like the website fairly automated with PayPal, like people would email me, and a lot of the times, like. A lot of this, back when people would email me and say blah blah blah, they told me the story and why they need it. Like there was so many motorcycle accidents, it was very noticeable. I told that to this doctor guy who goes to the same bar as I do, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's believable. Yeah, like organ donors." The latency test plays Doom. I think at the time, it was making Rage. Yes, it was for Rage. So that would have been like, what, 2010, 2011? I think they, Irrational Games bought one as well for BioShock Infinite. So that was when was that? Oh, well, it was probably, well, before BioShock Infinite came out. Game it was. But this, I didn't charge them extra, but they're like, oh, we really need this, but we need it in 2 weeks. And this was like 2 months before the game shipped. And I'm like, okay. Actually, you know what? Okay, I was going to say, I think that was the only time EA ever ordered one. Dun, dun, dun. So maybe they didn't like it. Ah, screw it. It was Medal of Honor Warfighter. Remember that when they tried to reboot Medal of Honor? So it was like the second reboot. Well, Doom isn't actually running on a pregnancy test. It's being piped to the screen on a pregnancy test. So it's probably just a Raspberry Pi being piped to a I2C OLED. That's what I was going to do with the vape. I wanted to like Doom on a vape. Even though that would have just been the Raspberry Pi pipe to a SPI screen. Or whatever they use, I2C. That probably has slow. Oh yeah, Hack 5. I remember them. Okay, so we can turn off the desoldering iron. You know, Michael Wilson, I think I've seen cigarette tar as well. It's kind of like sticky and brown. I assume that's... It didn't really smell, though. I don't know. I always feel like somebody's streaming me, and I get no privacy. Ooh. Have I ever received... No. Companies never send you anything unsolicited. They always ask you first. I mean, I guess unsolicited cat litter would be cool. Actually, it was another one that we didn't actually do because like we missed the email. But I think it was one of Justin Bieber's roadies wanted a Xbox One portable at one point. But I think that was back when we were like super busy with the show, so it got missed. Because I was always teaching Allison how to smell the money in emails. And I would say the same thing. I was like, you know, Allison, if you see a really long email, that's probably a difficult customer to work with. You should look for the three lines. But I think we knew who Justin Bieber was because that was probably like 2011 or 2012. Oh well. I don't know if I've ever heard the reason you started making these controllers. Oh, I just told the story like 5 minutes ago. Did you just get here? It was some guy who lost one of his arms in an IED explosion in the Bush II Iraq War. And he got back home and he's like, now I can't play video games. And I guess he found my site. And then he basically said, hey, could you build this? And, you know, I had never thought about that because abled people don't think about that. Unlike Christopher Butthole Reeves. And so I made him one. And then, so really, that guy he's the one to thank because, you know, he prompted me to do it. And then because of his prompt, I've been able to build these for many hundreds of people. I don't know. It's probably, I would bet it's probably over 500 at this point. I don't know. I mean, no, I'm not going to go back and check. So I'm just going to guess. Well, I do know, yeah, the number one sales year was 2020 because I guess people were super bored. So I think I don't think I have Excel in this computer. I think that year was probably over 150 in 1 year. So it was like, it was over, I was building over 2 a week. And that was back when Amazon had their stupid, we will only ship necessities, which is completely stupid when you shut down stores. So I was having to like get them, I was having to buy them from eBay. I was going to like the local video game stores and buying whatever used ones I could find. So, of course, the year that I sell the most was when it was the hardest to get them. Well, I mean, it was... Well, actually, well, there was like, that wasn't that long. And I remember Amazon was like, oh, well, because we can't sell you 3D printer filament either for some dumb reason. That was so stupid. It was so stupid that, well, I won't get into that. So there's actually, if I get controllers that have a certain like marble texture 3D print parts on them, I know that they are actually built like in the spring of 2020. Because I was like, well, I was using whatever filament I have, including like the fancy filaments that I hadn't used yet, like the fake marble filament from Murph. Black market controllers, yeah. Hey man, you want a controller? I got the good stuff. It's like that remember that Mega 64 where they were like eye dosing? that was like the funniest one. I got eye drugs. He got caught with 50 pounds of iPads. And now I die. I won't do drugs. That's what Dare taught me. I dare you to do the drugs. Ah, man, they should have called it Definitely Don't. Yeah, I wrote a book in 2004. It was called Hacking Video Game Consoles for Wiley Publishing. It's out of print now. It didn't do very well, but at least I can say that I wrote a book. Although I don't usually bring that up. That was actually when I quit my day job and became self-employed. And then I was self-employed for 22 years until a couple weeks ago when I officially became an employee of Spooky Pinball. Yay! Now I don't have to write out a check to bombs and guns every 3 months. So I guess that's a little better. Oh, here's your check to blow up people. Yay. So yeah, that was 2024. Yeah, it's called Hacking Video Game Consoles by Ben Heckendorn. It's from Wiley Publishing. In there, was it Tech Hack series? Extreme Tech series. Yes. Yes, back when my life was more exciting. Now I'm just a boring programmer. Yeah, if you really dig up on the internet, you can see there was an Engadget video where I did a musical number with Jonathan Colton. I was like Santa Claus or something, and we sang a song called One Christmas at a Time, and I asked if I could do it in a different I octave, and he's like, oh yeah, that's fine. That was a whole different lifetime ago. You miss being self-employed? Oh. I mean, like for me, I mean, the big thing for me was the health insurance. Because I make too much to get... it's like Affordable Care Act. There's good things about it, but the thing is, it doesn't really help you if you make over $58,000 a year, which... yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would think like most self-employed people, if you're doing well, you probably are making more than that. Which kind of sucks because you'll get, if you make $60,000 a year or $200,000 a year, which I've done both, it's like you get the same amount of help, which is zero. So, for a long time, it was pretty reasonable, you know? I mean, the insurance wasn't great, but it was reasonable. But like in the last couple of years, it's gotten unreasonable. And I think part of it is because I'm 50 now, and like once you turn 50, like all the alarm bells go off. So yeah, like that was probably my biggest motivation. Well, also, well, I think you become more woke to it when you are self-employed than because you're like, oh, well, just being not self-employed, that's a 7.5% raise because the employer covers 50% of your Social Security, Medicare, FICA contributions versus 100%, which is what you pay when you're self-employed, which is like a huge chunk of what you pay in taxes. I mean, Michael knows this, but other people might not, so that's why I'm telling the story. Yeah, owed my rod. That was kind of what my thinking is like. I was looking at the trajectory of premiums, and I'm like, there's definitely no way I'm going to be self-employed until I'm 65. So I was kind of planning on doing that anyway, but the opportunity just came up sooner than I thought. Because I've been working for 40 hours a week for Spookies for over, well, actually just about 2 years now, because I started Evil Dead 2 years ago, or just about 2 years ago. So to me, it's like, well, this isn't really any change, except for, you know, well, it's... And I was like, are you guys sure about this? I'm like, you guys, this will cost you more money. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's fine. So, yeah, all right. The highest cost of healthcare in the universe? Well, yeah, and also, you know... Yeah, and also, yeah. Oh, well, actually, America has, like, really, really good health care. The problem is paying for it. That's the problem. Like, if I didn't have insurance and if a bus hit me and my leg got nearly severed, the hospital would very gladly stick it back on, but then I would have a bill for, like, $180,000. Like really, really, really rich. Like if you're like a prince of Saudi Arabia and you need a heart transplant, like you go to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. Yeah, that's what they say, recliner. Yeah. Yeah, I think the last time I saw a specialist was for my CPAP. And I think it might have been like 2 months or something. It wasn't that big of a deal. Like the biggest problem, because like, again, it's not actually access to care or any of that. Although right now, like I go through personal, was it PCP? Personal physicians, whatever. They quit and get hired so quickly at my clinic. I haven't even met the last couple. It's like, oh, you have a new PCP. And then you get the letter, your PCP has quit. You are now on the list for a new PCP, right? So again, it goes back to like the insurance thing. Like, so I didn't have to wait that long. Like the whole thing, like for my CPAP, the whole kick and caboodle might have been like 5 months, but that was like with the test and seeing the specialist and then getting the machine, right? It wasn't that bad, but the main problem was like the insurance. So like, well, it's still technically the same insurance I have now, even though it costs way more now. I think my insurance paid like 10% of it, which is just a joke. And then I would get the phone calls like twice a year, like, Benjamin, would you like to order CPAP? Or if you order CPAP now, it'll go in the 2025 insurance billing cycle. And the last time that lady called, I'm like, look, lady, I know this isn't your fault, but I was like, my insurance covers a joke. My insurance doesn't cover jack shit for this. It's cheaper for me to just go on Amazon and buy a new hose. Because it's like, oh, but you'll save 10%. But the thing is, the insurance won't pay for the parts unless you see the specialist like every year. And like mine, I want to say it was like a $400 visit, and the insurance, again, only paid 10%. So it's like, oh, I'm not going to pay $360 out of pocket to save $10 on a mask. Probably wouldn't even be that much. So like so the problem in America is the cost more than anything. To anyone who's not in America, I guess other people could weigh in on their personal experiences, but that's been my experience. Well, yeah, that's the thing people don't realize. Recliner is like, if you have a national health care service, then in order to make that work, they have to ration it. And they do that through wait times. That's what the people here, who are like, oh, everything's better in other countries. It's like, yeah, well, but then you have you pay, well, yeah, of course you pay more in tax in Canada. Or in the UK, you have the consul tax, which goes toward it. So, I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see, like, if it actually is cheaper. I guess the only thing that would be better is that you would have like a guarantee to care. Like no one's ever going to go bankrupt out of it, which, obviously does happen. Although, like, if you compare like medical debt in America to other types of debt, well, of course I looked this up because I was like curious, like, the COVID response, how many times could we pay off all U.S. debt? And I think the answer was twice, except for mortgages, but those are good debt. I think when I checked, like U.S. medical debt was like $250 billion, which sounds like a lot, but compared to like car debt and credit card debt, it's not even remotely close to those. But it definitely is a problem, yes. I think the other problem in America is we have to compete with socialized medicine, i.e. Medicare, Medicaid, and Medicare, and yeah. So, and then on top of that, the hospitals get paid less by Medicare. So, the same procedure. Basically, yes. Like, let's say you had like a heart stent, like the hospital would charge my insurance more for that than they would for Medicare. So. That's also why Medicare for All won't work, because the hospitals rely on overcharging private insurance for what they make less on with Medicare and Medicaid. If it all went to Medicaid, then the hospitals would just make less money in general, and then there'd be less hospitals, and then you got another problem. And you've got a replicated virus once again. I want more life, Father. Would you consider making a game badge that can play Petsky robots? Oh, I'm sure my existing game badge could easily do Petsky robots. I'm sure no one will port it though, but the game badge is many orders of magnitude more powerful than a 6502. Yeah, I've heard that stereo monkey. Like again, like a lot of countries that people in America think are like, you know, just yeah. There's a lot of people still have private insurance. I don't know, like on paper, I agree with national health care. Like I think we should have it, but I also realize that there would be trade-offs. I'm a realistic person about that. Oh yeah, the badge is way more powerful than Commander X16. Commander X16 is just like it's an 8-bit computer. I think it's like what is it like? It's like it's basically the CPU of the Super Nintendo. But I don't even, wait. Is it even? Did they even use that, or did they go back to just an 8-bit CPU? Because at one time they were using the Super Nintendo CPU because it was still being manufactured. Oh, jeez. Well, yeah, Michael Wilson, the problem in America is the health insurance companies. Like, I'm not a fan of them politically, but I will give Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders props for just outright saying we have to get rid of the insurance companies, because yes, you would have to do that in order to have true national health care in America. So, despite any other misgivings I might have with those two people, they at least said the quiet part out loud. So, points for honesty. Yeah, that's what they keep saying, Mad She. It's the waiting list is what gets you. I don't know. I guess I'll find out as I get older and sicker. But Rick Kleiner, I have some post-it notes on the wall, but it's pretty much all just muscle memory. But sometimes that's bad because then you like might make a mistake without realizing it. I mean, I usually don't, but sometimes I do. So really, for me, this is like mowing the lawn and thinking about something else. That's why I'm able to like, you know, talk about like health insurance and stuff during it. Because again, I've done this so many times. It's like a factory just stamping out parts, you know. And actually, like when I do something wrong, that's when I actually have to think, because I get out of my muscle memory rhythm. Oh, Rambo's Clown? Rambozo Clown. Nice name. I thought it would be fun to try to do one-handed. I don't know if I could, though. It would definitely take me more than 2 hours. No, I just have like a couple. Well, okay, I guess I do look at this one note, which has the test points for the Y, A, and X button. But like these, I just always know it's 1, 2, 3. That's ground. 4, 5. It's kind of like when when the Franciscan monks would duplicate the Bible. A lot of them were illiterate, but they were just duplicating the symbols that they would see. So it didn't matter if they could read it or not. Actually, I felt the same way like when I used to do Culver's menus. I would then go to Culver's and not know what to order because I wouldn't actually read the menu, if that makes any sense. Like, it was just glyphs to me. Better save these for an apocalypse. Don't think I could build one of these blindfolded. Although I am absolutely sure, like, the thing that will stop me from doing this work, it'll be my eyes long before my hands go. Because my hands still work perfectly fine. I have a problem with that. That's why I made my super peepers last year. Well, actually, I can do this without the super peepers. This isn't too bad. Like right now, I'm looking through my bifocals. Super peepers. These are the super peepers. So it's got like, you can move these out of the way. And then it's got an attachment for a light. You bring these back in one by one. There's actually a third one you can add. So this is when I want like super magnification. Super magnification with a really wide field of view. That's what these are for. I built those last year. Well, yeah, that's why I always, the first thing I do when I get to this, I put a little bit of hot glue on the bottom of this so it stays put. Just so I don't have to think about it. I mean, technically, you know, this is loose because it's meant to, you know, not transfer force onto the circuit board like if it was through hole, which is a good design. But I just do it this way because, so this is meant, this is designed to be loose because of like yanking it around, but it seems to work. I don't even know how many people use the headphone jack. One problem with this, like, you can't attach like a chat pad and some other peripherals because this blocks this. So I've had a few people complain about that, but not too many. 90-year-old blind Ben. Yeah. Well, hey, I told you that the guy who owned my house, he visited one day, and he actually reminded me a lot of myself. And he was, I should ask Jan how he's doing. Because he was 93 when he visited, but that guy was still sharp as a tack. Like, I gave him a tour of the house, because I guess I don't think he'd been in it for like 15 years. And I remember, I showed him, I asked him about the fireboard. I took him to task for that. But I remember he bumped into something on my table, and it fell off, and he caught it. He was like 93. So yeah, he was a sharp old dude. And he's like, oh, I got some photos of when your workshop was my knife sharpening shop. I should show you sometime. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe sometime. Well, I'm mostly interested in that tunnel. I should ask Jan about that. Hopefully Jan doesn't die. Jan's pretty old, too. She's my neighbor over there. Her husband died a couple years ago. Yeah, I think he had Alzheimer's. He was pretty bad off. And then I bought her snowblower because I couldn't. Well, I thought about that. I'm like, it had sat in their shed for like 10 years, and it's like these people weren't even using this 10 years ago. Like, I mean, maybe her daughter was doing it or something. But so yeah, they had like this 2010 Craftsman that like had sat in their shed for like 10 years. So I had to rebuild the carburetor. And then my Uncle Bud was like, what you gotta do is you gotta only get the premium gas. Because the corn gas will clog up the carburetor, which is probably what happened. And he was right. Like, I don't even drain the gas. I'm so awful. I just leave the gas in it. It's fine. Yeah. The ethanol gas. So yes, ethanol gas will sit in that thing. Ethanol gas sits in that thing all summer, and then ethanol gas sits in my lawnmower all winter, and it's never a problem. I'm sorry, premium gas. Well, I mean, Krillin obviously a lot of old people have Alzheimer's and stuff, but Al was still sharp as a tack. Yeah, I should ask Jan how he's doing. Because she goes to they go to the same church. Yeah, I think about that. Like when Jan, like, see Jan go to church and stuff, and it's like, damn, she's like 10 years older than my mom, and my mom, I don't know. My mom's driving is kind of questionable. It's like, my mom, what is my mom? My mom's 74. Like, my mom drives so slow, it's dangerous. If you catch my drift. So, I don't know. Kind of worries me a little bit. It's like, she's like, oh, I'm going to drive to Madison and visit you. And then I just think about her on the Beltline. It's like, oh, God. So I'm like, well, don't come during these times of day, because the Beltline is like, well, I guess it's better than driving through Chicago. Chicago's like Death Race 2000. High cholesterol. Oh, my cholesterol is pretty high, so maybe I'll die of something other than Alzheimer's. Oh, I'm sure it'll be heart disease or a heart attack. I'm sure that's what'll get me. Where's my Q-tips? What the hell? Is this clogged? Oh no. What happened to my whatever cleaner? That's weird. The propellant seems to be gone. I guess I could try a new nozzle. I'll just use rubbing alcohol. You don't really need this, but just in case. I don't think I could crush this can. Oh, it's plastic safe. Oh, great. Bud, are you plastic safe? Yeah, recliner, it's been like that for years. I think they're different force rumbles. I think that's what that's all about. And of course, the Xbox has vibration triggers too. They've had that since the Xbox One. Oh, damn. Oh. I don't think I should get that pot pie anymore. It's like one of those foods that like keeps reminding you that you ate it. A cool brush for PCB. Oh, my hands. Yeah, toothbrushes, yeah. My PCBs for the MGC project are almost here, so I should get those Friday. So the sign up for that workshop should be live pretty soon. I'm going to do 25 slots, which is a reasonable number. We've tried like 2 sets of 20, and I think 2 sets of 20 was the most we ever did, and it's kind of a big, because the thing is, it's hard to fit 2 of those into a day, because it's like 3 or 4 hours each, so you're talking like 3 hours plus an hour break, which is never enough, and then another 3 hours, so you're talking like 7 hours, so it's kind of hard to space that out. So I was like, how about just one? I think the last year or two we just did 1 of 25, so hopefully it works. But Ken was like, you know what we should say this year is only leaded solder. Because lead-free solder is too difficult for noobs. I don't even like using lead-free solder. Something, something, lead-free solder, something, something, cold dead hands. I lost all my solder in a boating accident. The 8-bit guy took it. Matt G8787, I am yet again making a single-handed controller. This one is for the right hand. And I think I will be caught up once I finish this one, so that's good. Oh crap, do I have any more? I guess I'll have to use one of these white ones. There's so much lead in our planet. The damage is already done. There's lead everywhere. Thanks, leaded gasoline. There's a really interesting YouTube video. It's called The Man Who Killed the Most People in History. And it's about how the guy who invented lead gasoline also invented chlorofluorocarbons. And they also, like, they draw this correlation between, like, leaded gasoline and, like, violent crime. And it's kind of hard to not... It's kind of crazy when they show, like, the bar graphs. There's, like, this, like, 20-year lag. And then, like, the rise and fall of leaded gasoline. And then, like, trailing that by, like, 20 years is a rise and fall in, like, violent crimes. Like, maybe that's what created all those killers back in the 70s. Well, I think that was just, you know, they didn't have DNA testing back then. Zodiac killer's like, oh yeah, I love leaded solder. Ugh. Also, who am I? No one's ever asked for any sort of classic controller to be one-handed. Which is actually kind of weird if you think about it. Yeah, I'm surprised I've never gotten that request. Oh, I just jinxed it. We were rust belting. Yes, we were rust belt maxing. The original sin of leaded gasoline put astronomical amounts of lead into our into our environment that will never go away ever. And that's why that's why we need to go to Mars, because there's no lead. There's no lead on Mars. It's, as far as we know, it's a lead-free planet. It's just dust. Behold! Prepper! How about that? Yeah. Let's see how much we got. Probably gonna jinx myself here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, excuse me. Why am I doing the math for this? Oh, yeah. Yes. It's entirely possible I will not live long enough to use all of this. Liquid gold. I'm not going to give away any of that. Lead. 21 rolls? Oh no. I'm screwed. Wait. I still got the last of the Atari solder. There's still some on there. I don't think I use as much as I used to, because I used to be able to go. I would go, like when I was doing the show, I would go through like one of these in 1.5 years. So what I just showed you is probably jinxing myself to have a heart attack and die. What I just showed you is 30 years of solder, lead solder. Crawl out from the fallout back to me. This one's always the same. Like if you look at either one of the Hall effect sensors, because they're rotated 180 to each other. So basically, if you look at it from this angle or this angle, I mark it red, like right, like Republicans, right wing, red on the right, and then so I mark it. Well, the circuit board has an R on it for the right hand side, so then I just mark it red, and then on this one, it's red to the right. So again, I just kind of have it memorized in my memory. I just mark the rightmost wire red or black. Except for the D-pad, the center one is ground. So that's a little different from the other ones. Oh, here's a fun trivia question for you. What was the first U.S. election that color-coded the political parties? Does anyone know? Do 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 do. Yeah, probably not as long ago as you might think. All right, let's look at your answers. Sean Connery wrote Trebek's mother. Ha 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 ha. I'll play your game, you rogue. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Ford because a lot of people still had black and white TVs in the 70s. There's a context clue. Yeah, that's probably good. I got deja vu from last night. I better fact check myself on this one. Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Huh. Never mind. I thought it was 1988, but it was actually more recent than that, which is hard to believe. Did I get these? Oh shit, I didn't solder these. Oops. It's all Ford's fault. I lied. NSA Pringles can. Actually, no, recliner, yeah, it actually was the year 2000 when it was standardized, which, is this a Mandela effect? I thought it was 1988. Aren't those like some Mandela effect things where like people are like absolutely sure that they're being gaslit, like Fruit of the Loom? It's like, I absolutely remember a cornucopia in Fruit of the Loom. I don't care what Google or Wikipedia say, they can F themselves. Have I been playing anything recently? Just Call of Duty Warzone. Uh-oh. Alright, got it out of there. I haven't bought any new games in a long time. I thought about replaying Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but I probably won't. I don't know, I just feel like I've gotten tired of video games now that I'm out of the prime demographic. No, there's like some Mandela effect stuff where like if you look it up, like you will be like, wait a minute, that's wrong. Like Fruit of the Loom is a good example. Like Berenstain Bears, like I can see that one because, you know, I probably wouldn't have, you know, I would have just thought about it phonetically, you know, when I was a kid. So I could believe that one. I mean, although I did think it was Berenstein, not Berenstein or Stain or whatever it is. I would say that, yeah, the two big ones for me are Fruit of the Loom and then in the James Bond movie with Jaws, like that girl had braces. Because why would you do that scene and not give her braces, right? It's like the Mandela version makes more sense. Maybe that's why we think that. Because we're like, well, wait a minute. You'd expect her to have braces because, oh look, here's his kindred spirit. And that's how I remember it, like her having braces. I was too young to see that movie in theaters, but I remember watching it on TV back in the 80s. Well, yeah, recliner. It's a cornucopia. Yeah, you know, like the Bugles potato chips. A cornucopia is like this thing that like holds things, kind of like it kind of looks like a horn or a flute. So yeah, on the logo there was a cornucopia, which is brown, and then the fruit of the loom was coming out of the cornucopia. And as Reddit would say, it's like fruit of the loom is why Gen X knows what a cornucopia is. Because like if you asked a Gen Zer what a cornucopia is, they wouldn't know. Well, they don't know anything. God, I went to the bar after work to have like a beer, and what did I mention? The Gen Z girl was like, she's like, "You want another beer?" And I was like, "No, I've joined the Temperance League." And she's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh my God, they don't teach these kids anything." It's like you're a bartender, you don't know what the Temperance League was? Well, those who forget history, ... The Mandela effect was caused by Howard the Duck. I don't remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison. I remember him going to prison. So I don't see that one, but it's like you read the Mandela effect, you're like, but yeah, then you're like, oh, he didn't die in prison. He went to prison, and then he became the Prime Minister of South Africa and ended apartheid. But then you read things like the Fruit of the Loom thing, and you're like, what? How could you forget about Howard the Duck? Did you know Howard the Duck was such a bomb that George Lucas had to sell his computer graphics division, and he sold it to Steve Jobs, who then turned it into Pixar? Maybe it was a conspiracy. Howard the Duck is not a good movie. It's got really good special effects, though. There is no monocle. Oh, you mean on the Monopoly Man? Oh, yeah, he totally had a monocle. No, I remember him with a monocle. And wasn't it like was it the peanut guy, the Planters peanut guy? Was he part of that too, or was it Monopoly Man? Or maybe Planters Peanut Man is why we think Monopoly Man had a monocle. But again, why would you make a rich banker character and not give him a monocle, right? Like, it seems obvious. But maybe that's why we misremember it. Just like the girl with the braces. Although she totally had the braces. Tell me, Picard. Ah, you used my name. Tell me, Picard. Did the girl have braces? She had braces! Howard the Duck. I just remember Howard the Duck having really good special effects. Like, it had like Phil Tippett go motion for the creature at the end. So the stop motion creature was like really good. That's what they were actually going to use in Jurassic Park, but then they got the computer graphics to work. Like, go motion is It's stop motion, but they have like vibrators that cause motion blur to happen when the frame is taken. But apparently it was like pretty expensive, so not only like big budget movies could use it. Like RoboCop didn't use it. I think RoboCop used Go Motion in the second one, but they couldn't afford it for the first one. Oh wow, how fortuitous! You just mentioned Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai while I talked about RoboCop. Boomhauer, it's the Mandela effect. Because of Nelson Mandela. Oh yeah, Mad God, that was done by Phil Tippett, yeah. Phil Tippett was like, I'm going to make so much money off this Spielberg movie. Oh, wait, I got a call. Hello? What? No! She was alive! I'm afraid you killed her. No! Yeah, it was a Marvel comic back in the 70s. And it was completely different from the movie. Maybe, well, I know they already had him in some cameos, but it would be funny if Marvel actually redid Marvel. Like, maybe that's what Marvel could do to, like, actually give itself a shot in the arm. Like, what if they did, like, authentic, hardcore, like, 70s Howard the Duck? Like, maybe that should be, like, their Hail Mary. It could be like their Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they should, you know? Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit was actually a really big part of like the Disney Renaissance. And again, it was like this super expensive, kind of like crazy movie. But it, you know, they swung for the fences and it worked. Because remember, Disney was kind of a joke back in the 80s. And that actually was one of the movies that kind of like was like, wow, look at this big like effects movie that Disney made. It was like a big deal when it came out. Oh, excuse me. It's probably like the most labor-intensive movie ever made. Frankfurt the Birds. Yes, a lot of people recall Nelson Mandela dying in prison. So yes, that's where it comes from. But yeah, there's a lot of things that people remember history differently. Maybe it's like that episode of Rick and Morty where he like split time and the time cop showed up. Maybe that happened at some point. Who knows? I mean, I guess it's possible. I mean, some theoretical theorists think that every decision everyone makes creates an alternate universe. Like that other episode of Rick and Morty. Well, actually, that didn't create an alternate universe. He teleported Morty to an alternate universe. Hey, that was like a rare Rick and Morty episode that was actually about science fiction. You know, if you think about like the MCU, it's like there's so, I mean, I don't know. Like, movie genres never last forever, or their heyday never lasts forever. It's like they didn't stop making westerns, but westerns will never be as popular as they were in the 50s. Or, they didn't stop making Bible movies, but same thing. Or they didn't stop making cheesy disaster movies. Although I would say that we got way more like high concept films in the 80s. I kind of miss that. I don't know. I lost interest with Marvel. Once Marvel let Sam Raimi direct a movie, and I'm like, well, okay. There's nothing else I want. I don't care anymore. And I enjoyed that movie just because it was so freaking cheesy. It's like, well, this is all I need. It's a Sam Raimi movie and it's cheesy. I'm happy. But, yeah. Because, Avengers Doomsday, I can tell you exactly what the plot's going to be. It's going to be evil Tony Stark. Although there is a plot line. I mean, like, Tony Stark as Doctor Doom isn't just pulled out of their butt. Like, there is a comic about that. But it's going to be like, oh, there's a universe where Tony Stark became Doctor Doom. And then he's going to go to another universe and he's going to find all the Fox X-Men, right? So he's going to pull all these geezers out of the X-Men rest home. And then all the Fox X-Men geezers are going to fight all of the C-list MCU characters that are left. And then at the very end, Captain America will show up because there aren't any rules anymore because it's a multiverse. And then it's just, all those movies, like, I think that's the problem. Like, ever since, like, Civil War, it's like a kid in the playground. Hey, Captain America, I'm Iron Man. I'm going to beat you up. That's every movie now. Because, well, the thing that... Okay, so I think Marvel movies have sucked longer than people think. Like, I think they started sucking, like, around Black Panther, because I thought Black Panther was crap. And it's the same thing. It's like... Okay, so it's like, okay, Black Panther, right? So, basically, call him Africa's Batman. And it's like, oh, yeah. And because if you think about a place in the modern world where there's still like a lot of injustice and like warlords. I mean, we kind of saw that in the first Iron Man, right? Like you had those warlords taking all the grain and stealing all the weapons. Like that's still happening in Africa right now. And what does Black Panther do? He spends 90% of the movie fighting his own countrymen. That was dumb. Oh, anyway, well, actually, on that same topic. So I think the thing that's really missing from these Marvel movies, and Avengers Doomsday isn't going to fix it, is there's no more power fantasy. So, like, oh, look, here's a bunch of terrorists, right? And the terrorists are, like, beating people up and shooting men and stealing kids and, and the terrorists have, like, machine guns and stuff, but Iron Man comes down and just starts killing them all. That's a power fantasy. That's what, well, men like. And when you have, like, two superheroes fighting each other, you don't have the power fantasy anymore. I mean, you would have that, like, at the end, actually, that was, like so many Marvel movies had the same plot where it's like, oh, look, I'm a superpower person. Oh, no, at the end, I have to fight the same thing. I have to fight another Ant-Man. I have to fight another Iron Man. But that would just happen at the end. But now, like, the whole movie is, like, just, it's like, oh, look, it's like, Deadpool and Wolverine are going to fight each other for an hour and a half, and then they're going to fight 100 Deadpools. It's more satisfying to see Deadpool fighting, like, Russian mobsters or whatever he did in the first one. And yeah, there's no more of the power fantasy left. Because you just see superheroes fighting superheroes. You don't get the satisfaction of a superhero fighting normal bad guys. It's like, that's what made that scene in Wonder Woman so great. It's like, you got the no man's land, and Wonder Woman just walks out in front of it, and she's like, "Oh, I'm a badass. I'm gonna beat up all the Germans," and it was awesome because it was like, there's a power fantasy, like, oh, this superhero is doing something super heroic, and you completely lose that when you just smash your action figures together. I think, what was it, like, Ant-Man 2 also was pretty dumb. It's like, I remember watching it, and then he shrunk the building into a carry-on bag, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then that was like, half the movie was just like them like carrying that building around. And it's like, oh, this isn't interesting anymore. Yeah, I would say like, yeah, Winter Soldier was great. Civil War was good because it was the first time when it was like heroes versus heroes. It hadn't gone stale yet. And I thought Infinity War was great. Like, I wish it would have just ended with Infinity War. And then I saw Endgame, and I'm like, this is... Because, well, first of all, the time travel in Endgame it was so dumb. Because the thing is, it's kind of ironic, because Marvel hired a bunch of Rick and Morty writers, but it doesn't even work, because like in Rick and Morty, the multiverse is consistent, and it makes sense. But then you have, like, Avengers Endgame, and it's like, okay, well, we're going to have a time travel plot, but the time travel plot doesn't make any sense. It's filled with paradoxes. And those paradoxes only work if you are doing, like, time travel that creates new timelines, in which case you have a multiverse, but you also have a multiverse on top of that. So it's inconsistent. And so what ends up happening, like, if you take it from, like, multiverse and time travel rules, then in Avengers Endgame, that means all of the heroes left that timeline, and that timeline was left to languish, and all the Avengers went into another timeline, and then they saved some random timeline that wasn't their own original timeline. So you basically got, like, several Rick and Morty episodes right there, but at least Rick and Morty is consistent. Like, Cronenberg world remains screwed, and it's like, oh, look, we abandoned this world, and they actually deal with it. And yeah, they should have just killed off all the expensive Avengers in Infinity War and then gone from there. Because yeah, like, Endgame was like this big dumb time travel movie that made no sense again. And it's even done like, it's like, they're like, oh no, this isn't time travel like Back to the Future. This is real time travel, except for Back to the Future had much better time travel. Like, Back to the Future, there were consequences to the time travel, unlike this movie. Whereas, in Endgame, what was it? Old Nebula kills young Nebula? It's like, how does that work? Again, well, it only works if you're dealing with the multiverse. So if you're going with multiverse rules, that means the Avengers abandon their original timeline. So the original timeline, half the people are dead, and there's no Avengers there because they all fucked off to another timeline. Like, it's not even consistent within its own logic. Old Man Captain America didn't make sense. Well, also, like, how did he return those stones? Like, he went back in time, but he also had a spaceship and a time machine. Like, how would that even work? Did he go back in time one step at a time, and then... Wouldn't you have had to, like, stick a Infinity Stone into Natalie Portman or something? Well, he might have enjoyed that part. Yeah, Denis Villeneuve did a pretty good job with Dune. I still think the original Blade Runner... I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I still think it's a better movie. It looks like this controller is good to go. GST, are you throwing shade on Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home? How do we know he didn't invent the thing? Oh, primer. There you go. Oh, my God. Well, remember the end battle. What was it? The end battle in Endgame was that Thanos from the past went into the future through Tony Stark's time machine. Because remember, what is it? Like Nebula kills. Wait, young Nebula switches places with old Nebula, and then she opens the time machine so that young Thanos can come to the future. So Thanos, before he got the Infinity Stones, came into the future and got killed. So there's a paradox right there. Again, unless you have multiverses. It made absolutely no sense. It's like people were so excited because Captain America picked up the hammer, but it made them forget that the movie made no effing sense whatsoever. A sequel to the new Blade Runner. Some streamer is doing like Blade Runner 2099 or something. So Blade Runner is coming back as a TV show. Recliner, there's a streaming show about Blade Runner being made. It's like called Blade Runner like 2099 or something. So it takes place 50 years after the one with Ryan Gosling. Michael Wilson, I think they kind of touched base on that in like the Spider-Man sequels, like what was the one that everyone forgets about, like the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, like Super Far From Home. Yeah, because like wasn't it like, yeah, you disappear but you come back. Wait, do you come back the same age or do you come back younger? You know the other thing that's dumb about Thanos' plan? Like, let's say you were Thanos, and you're like, I'm going to save Earth. I'm going to kill half the people on Earth, and it'll save the environment. So, basically, Bill Gates. If you were to, like, cause half of Earth to disappear, you would only set Earth's population back to 1980. So, 46 years later, you'd be right back to where you were, if not worse, because people would probably be, encouraged to breed more. So, not a good plan. Oh. Bud, did you find your Q-tip? Nah, Boomhauer, just pretend that it ended with Infinity War. I think I watched WandaVision? I think that was the last thing that the last show that I watched. Oh yeah, because then it became like homework, because I don't think I watched all of WandaVision. So then I watched the Doctor Strange 2. And what was it, like Wanda was good or evil at the beginning of that? And I'm like, wait, why is she evil? Like, I had no idea. So it's like, oh, because I'm sure like the corporate boardroom's like, people have to watch all our shows in order to know what's going on in the movies. Like, is that really a good idea to give our audience homework? Screw you, Jonas Brothers! Thanks, Recliner. Thanks for the super chat. Yeah, it seems pretty good. 2 hours on the head. I think that was a little faster than last night. Oh, Wonka Vision. Yeah. Well, it was kind of wonky. Yeah, wasn't it like in Doctor Strange and the Mom of Madness? It's like the whole movie was like she was trying to get back her imaginary kids or something. It's like, that's dumb. Oh, I would contend that like the best superhero movies were made by studios other than Marvel, like the first two Spider-Man movies, Wonder Woman. Like the Nolan Batman movies were good. Deadpool, the Logan movie. Like, I don't know, like the movies that felt like more like real movies mostly were done by other studios. And Marvel obviously had the most success, but it felt like Mick movie, you know? Like Marvel never topped Spider-Man 2. That was like the zenith. So I don't know. I don't know. I would rather have cheesiness than like just endless quippy jokes. I guess we'll see if we get Avengers Doomsday before Grand Theft Auto 6. Wonder Man? Yeah, I heard Wonder Man was not really a superhero show. It's more like a character drama. Maybe that's what they should do more of. But yeah, I don't know. I think they should think about it more. They should think about it more psychologically, like the power fantasy. It's really, I don't know. I don't think movies nowadays are made with any subtext or any deeper meaning, and I think that's why a lot of it doesn't really work. Or like J.J. Abrams' Star Wars is a perfect example of that. It's like, oh, I made this look like a Star Wars movie, and there's like sand and there's like robots, but the subtext isn't there. Like say what you will about the prequels, but like George Lucas understands maybe not filmmaking, but he understands story way better. Like when George Lucas rips off something, he rips off like ancient mythology or Joseph Campbell, and then J.J. Abrams just rips off Star Wars. That's why Disney Star Wars is like mostly inbred, because it's only, well, actually, when Disney Star Wars takes influences from other things, it's usually pretty good, like Mandalorian. Because Mandalorian is just like, you know, a Western wolf and cub, but it's better because it's like it's a story, but it's told with a Star Wars veneer. Tell us what you think of Rogue One. I did not like Rogue One. I know I'm the weirdo because everyone thinks that's the best one, but so what I didn't like about Rogue One. Well, first of all, I'm not like a huge Star Wars fan. I should say that. I'm a Star Trek fan. So it would just be from a story perspective, right? So I think everyone loves Rogue One because the last 30 minutes of Rogue One was the best Star Wars that Disney made. The problem is there was a really awful hour-and-a-half long movie before it. Because really, nothing in the movie really matters. The only thing that matters is the Death Star plans are in this location, and we have got to go into that location and get the Death Star plans. Because pretty much everything in the movie up to that point was them trying to find out the location. But that isn't the interesting part. The interesting part is how they get the plans out. And that part of the movie is really good. But the rest of it is just like, oh, we're going to go to this base and there's my father. And then you get shot. Well, what does any of this mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's kind of pointless. Or like you have like the slug monster that like reads the mind of some random guy, and the slug they have this scene where like the slug monster is like, we better figure out if this guy is is trustworthy. But the thing is, the audience already knows that he's trustworthy. So why are you wasting our time making us watch a slug monster read this guy's mind to find out what we already know? Like, really, well, this is the same thing with Finn. Rogue One should have been about the guy who defected, like the guy who got his mind read by the slug monster. That should have been the main character of Rogue One, not this random chick. Same thing with Force Awakens. Finn should have been the main character. Because really, it's like they made Rogue One backwards, where they're like, oh, we've got this random chick who's the main character. Like, why is she the main character? Because she's the daughter of the guy who designed the Death Star, but none of it really matters. And again, like the guy who defects with the plans or defects with the information that gets his brain scanned, he's the one who's like taking all the initial risk. Like, he actually has a more active protagonist role, because remember, the chick, she doesn't really want to even be involved. Like, for most of the movie, all she cares about is her dad. Like, she doesn't care about the main plot. Or like, they're like, oh, you're a criminal, so you either help us or you go back to space jail. Like, it's like her she's not really making a lot of active choices, which is why the plot kind of plods along, because there's no like driving narrative to it. But I thought the end of Rogue One was pretty good. Although apparently they reshot half that movie, so maybe they juiced up the ending. Because they're like, well, you know what? This plot kind of sucks, but if we make the movie end well, people will like it. And obviously they did. Like, I guarantee you that Darth Vader fight was probably not in the original shoot schedule. Although, what's that chick? Jenny Nicholson on YouTube? You know that chick that has like the giant porg? I think she even though she's kind of a Star Wars shill, she didn't like Rogue One either. And she had a good analogy. She was like, what if you were watching a Civil War movie and there was a scene in the movie where a Confederate soldier went around killing a bunch of Union soldiers, and then everyone in the audience was cheering for that character. She's like, that wouldn't happen. So why is everyone cheering for Darth Vader killing a bunch of rebellion people? And it's kind of a good point. It's like, this is the villain. Although, they did give people what they wanted, like, hey, let's see Darth Vader in his prime, or let's see Darth Vader actually do something. So I think that's also why they liked it. And I would go back to, if they would have given Luke, even if you could have, Last Jedi could have been just as awful as it was, if it would have had, like, a satisfying thing at the end with Luke kicking butt, I think people would have been like, oh, that's the greatest movie ever. They liked the prequels unironically? I don't know. The prequels have aged pretty well. I think it's because the prequels, for all their faults, they're based off ancient storytelling truths. It's super cheesy, but it's a good story told poorly versus like Force Awakens, which is a poor story told well. Because like even though it's super cheesy, you know, like, oh, Padme, like the acting's bad and everything, but at its core, it's about like how, you know, how people can be destroyed by their fear and their hatred, and that's a universal story, and that's why deep down it works, even if the movie's cheesy. Well, All Lucky Seven, I mean, yeah, maybe it's semantics. Oh, Recliner, I actually think the Han Solo movie was probably the most consistent Disney Star Wars movie. I actually thought it was pretty good, even though I only watched it once. I was one of the 8 people that saw it in the theater. I thought it was pretty solid. Because I would think, like, Solo wasn't like an amazing movie, but it was the most consistent. Like, I thought Force Awakens was, like, really good up until Han Solo showed up. It's like, because the thing is, you know, yeah, I love Indiana Jones, but the thing is, it's just like Blade Runner 2049, like, Harrison Ford shows up and it's like the old man coming to your party and taking a shit in the bathroom and everyone's like, oh, God. Yeah. It's like the first 40 minutes of Force Awakens was, like, really good. Because I don't know, it moved fast. It had great action. It had great. I think J.J. Abrams is a really good director. He just directs shitty scripts. That's the problem. Well, I mean, if you look at like the prequels, you know, it's not just a story about like the fall of a man. It also talks about the fall of an empire. And like if you look at like the Force Awakens, it's like the what are they called? The First Order. The First Order. So it's like, oh, the First Order has defeated the Republic. It's like, how? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, okay, so all the Nazis went to Argentina and then they stayed there for like 20 years and then somehow they came back and conquered America. Like, that would never happen. It's like, if you have a galactic republic and then that republic becomes corrupted and turns into an empire, well, again, that's what happened to Rome. So it's based on history, unlike JJ stuff. But the thing is, the Galactic Republic already exists. So if you turn that into an empire, you still have all your authority in place, and most importantly, you have all your taxation in place. So the empire is funded the same way the Republic was because all that stuff is still there. Versus, again, where does the First Order get all this money from? Maybe that's an expanded universe thing, because I know obviously the empire wasn't immediately defeated, but yeah, it just doesn't really make any sense. It's like they didn't like think it through. But like if you look at like, you know, the prequels, it all thematically makes sense. Like nothing, even though it's cheesy, nothing really happens out of the blue. I would say well, I mean, obviously the movies are cheesy, but like I do kind of wish like in the Phantom Menace there would have been something like, I wish Anakin would have done something dark, like maybe who's that guy he fights, Sebulba? Like maybe he kills Sebulba during the pod race and it's like his little secret. I think there should have been something in that movie because there's definitely dark stuff in the second movie. Yeah. We have another. Yeah, maybe there's a whole bunch of Han Solos. Crashing his plane in your backyard. Yeah. Do the voice? What voice? Well, like, even the stuff that seemed dumb, like, God, didn't we just talk about this last week? Like, a virginal birth, like, you know, Anakin came from the Force. It's like, well, that's the same thing as the story of Jesus. Like, you know, an immaculate conception. Like, and it's not just in well, it's not Judeo. It's not just in Christian religion. There's a lot of those themes are in many different religions. We're like, oh yeah, you know, the virgin birth, that's Jesus, but that happens in many other beliefs have that same stuff because, you know, it goes back to monomyth. So yeah, okay, the midichlorians were kind of stupid. I don't know exactly why they did that. Yeah, I would agree. All lucky 7. That's a good point. Oh yeah, because Padme was older than him, right? Yeah, that never works. No wonder that relationship didn't work. Okay, you know what? I actually think there's a part where Hayden Christensen actually did a really good job of acting. Like, when Padme tells him that she's pregnant, like, he actually acts, like, really realistically, like, oh, I'm so happy, but you can tell he's terrified. And that actually seemed realistic, you know? And, of course, Padme's like, oh, we're screwed. Although, I do kind of wish, like, Obi-Wan would have done something more, like, I kind of wish Obi-Wan would have been more involved with Padme's death. Because Anakin blames him for stuff, but I don't know. There should have been, like, something a little more darkness there, too, would have been nice. Well, yeah, of course, we would associate with the Christianity. I'm just saying Christianity is not the only religion that has immaculate conceptions in it. Because I mean, something else like Star Wars was like one of the first mainstream movies that had other religious influences, like Eastern religion influences as well. Like before that, everything was like, Charlton Heston Bible movies. She died of cringe. Anakin, you're tearing me apart. I don't know. I think George Lucas is a really talented filmmaker or storyteller. I think it's kind of like Prometheus. It's like he didn't invent these tropes. He just used them. But he also, unlike like Rian Johnson, like The Last Jedi, like I don't think George Lucas would think he's above storytelling. It's like he understands that he has to follow certain like ancient rules that work for a reason. And I think that's why, because the thing is, like deep down, like, no matter what you think of the prequels, he still created Star Wars. I mean, yes, obviously Star Wars was made by a bunch of people, but really, I think it was kind of a singular vision, like making something that was, even for the time, like got to think of like when Star Wars was made, it was in a very cynical time, and everything else was like disaster movies or shark movies or political thrillers because of Watergate. And then you had this movie that was like almost like cartoonish in its morality, but I think that's what people really needed at that time, because it was kind of a reminder of like classic good and bad and good and evil, and I think that's why it worked, because it was like really black and white, which is another problem. Like when they try to make Star Wars gray, it doesn't work because that's not what it's about. It's not about gray. It's about black and white. And like maybe someone can go from black to white, like Anakin, but yeah. Yeah, I saw that movie a really long time ago, Recliner. Yeah, there is a lot of Star Wars DNA in it. I don't think I've ever seen American Graffiti though. I don't think I did. Because that's what he made. That's what he made between THX and Star Wars. Yeah, I agree. All Lucky Seven. Yeah, I think when you got to the prequels, maybe Lucas did have too much ego. But back with the original trilogy, yeah, I think he was very smart to like have someone else come in and give kind of different takes on it. Although he was still very much involved. American Graffiti is free with ads? Oh, okay. Was Richard Dreyfuss in that? I know Harrison Ford was. Wasn't American Graffiti kind of like a period film? Like it was about the 50s, right? Well, I think there was like a lot of imitation, like, well, I talked about that in my Last Jedi review where, Rian Johnson saw some documentary from the 80s where George Lucas was like, I watched footage of old fighter planes. And then Rian Johnson's like, oh, okay, old fighter planes, World War II. All right, let's have some bombers from World War II. And without even thinking about how that really makes no context it makes no sense in the context of the story. So again, it's more like the analogy I've made before is Disney Star Wars is like getting some code off GitHub and it compiles and it works, but you don't know why it works. That's Disney Star Wars. Like I think George Lucas has a well, not think he does. He has a much deeper understanding of story, and he's also not a postmodernist. So he understands story. He's not trying to recreate. The thing is, you can't recreate storytelling. Storytelling it works because it's ancient. Gary Vader. I thought Darth Vader was Dutch for Dark Father. Well, yeah, because that 50s nostalgia was big back then because it was 20 years before the 70s. So the usual 20-year nostalgia cycle. Ah. A football player bullied young George Lucas? I can't believe it. He gave him swirlies. I have taken your lunch money. Pray I do not take any more. Oh, that could be a plot for a movie. I talk like the 8-bit guy. Ugh. Oh, looks like David Springs is going to give us a list. Like the code Claude wrote for me? Yeah. I don't know if you heard yesterday, Recliner, but I was talking about... I had the same thing where, like, I was vibe coding some stuff, and I think it was my cat feeder, and I had it do, like, this safeties stepper move, but I didn't realize it put it, like, in 5 different places. So it reminded me of, like, having to redo work for an employee that doesn't really know what they're doing, and then it takes more time because you have to redo it. George Lucas and 8-bit guy sound familiar. I'm going to program Attack of the Petsky robots. I mean droids. It's hard to do a George Lucas impression without sounding like Red Letter Media. Well, I got about half a beer left. Now I don't have to build these for a while until I get another order. But according to my recession theory, there'll probably be more orders when the tax returns come in. Because that's what I've noticed these last couple years. The rush moved from before Christmas to like tax return time. I guess we'll see. It's February. Shit, I got to do my taxes yet still. It'll be my last year of fully self-employed taxes. Hopefully. Although I'll still have to do this, so. Well, most of it'll be 10 W-2. Yeah, I could probably just pay this at the end of the year, so I just not do quarterlies. Because, yeah, it's not. It's probably like $20,000 or $30,000 a year, so the interest on that wouldn't be that bad. It'd probably be like $200. Because they, if you don't pay quarterlies, the IRS charges you interest. They don't give you interest when they keep your money all year, but they'll charge you interest if you keep any of their money for more than one quarter. Oh, okay. Dreyfuss was in that movie. That was a pretty early Ron Howard movie. I mean, well, it was after, what was it? That was after the Andy Griffith Show. Tax returns are supposedly higher this year because of new tax credits. Oh, is that because of the big bill? I don't know. I haven't gotten a tax return in eons, so I don't know. I guess I'll see what my withholding is for next year. Actually, you know what? Yeah, because if I still do this stuff, my if I get a tax return, my tax return could pay for this. Yeah, maybe I should. Well, I guess I'll see where it is next year. A YouTube watch party? Of what? Like Mystery Science Theater 3000? Remember when Xbox 360 Live had Netflix watch parties like a million years ago? Like you could actually like make a lobby and everyone could watch the same thing with like your... What did they call the Mii's on Xbox? Your avatars or your... whatever the hell it was. My taxes, my back taxes, my food bill, my electricity bill, it's gonna be sky high. I guess he also talks like the 8-bit guy. Ben only has 2 impressions. Mitchell. Yeah. There's a Kickstarter right now for 4 more episodes of Mystery Science Theater. Write off your overtime. Non-exempt. What does that mean? God, yeah, I've completely forgotten all about like W2, whatever they call it. Like it's been 22 years, and I can still remember the tax forms. I guess, yeah, I think I just did standard deduction, which I think is a little high, but well, again, I'm too tax woke to consider a tax return to be a savings account. That's BS. That's for rubes. So I prefer it to be 0, but I suppose if overpayment would go against this 1099 stuff, then that'd probably be okay. Oh yeah, aren't they bringing back the original? Well, not the original 2 robots, but they're bringing back Kevin Murphy as Crow. Kevin Murphy as Tom Servo, and then who's it? Bill Corden as not Trace Boulier, but the second Crow, which I guess is... Yeah, the only real complaint I had with the Netflix revival of Mystery Science Theater was that, yeah, the 2 robots sounded too much alike. They weren't distinct enough. And that's especially bad because all you see, it's just their voices. So, I mean, Crow was okay, but like the Tom Servo kind of sucked. Because Kevin Murphy has such an obvious voice. Non-exempt is hourly, exempt is salary. Oh, so I'm salary. I don't even know how it works anymore. But I just work 8 hours a day, 9 to 5, and that's it. Unless there's an emergency, but it hasn't been too bad. I remember the 90s playing pinball at a local truck stop restaurant. It's funny, you used to see arcade machines, pinballs practically everywhere. Yeah, they were everywhere. Now they're just in retro arcades. Yeah, glad you enjoyed the stream, Recliner. Thanks for the super chats. Thank you for the Canada bucks. But make sure to save some for yourself so you can buy some poutine. Is it poutine or Putin? Vladimir Putin. I'm surprised we don't have that here. I mean, it involves cheese curds. We used to go to the post office and get tax forms? I don't I don't really remember that, but okay. I don't think I've ever done my yeah, I don't think I've ever done my taxes myself. I don't think I have. Yeah. Yeah, even when I had a normal job, I would just go to H&R Block. And then in later years, I got a CPA. Man, that would be great. Like, just take a picture of your W-2 and file your taxes for free. It's like, oh my God, that would be amazing. You think Culver's would have taxes, health insurance, and illiterate monks this Monday on the Penhex Show? Yeah. You think Culver's would have poutine? That would be cool. I've never had poutine. It seems kind of heavy. Downside is you have to visit Alberta. Yeah, one of the retro arcades here, because there's like 4 of them here. Wait, shit, I can't remember. Yeah, there's 4 of them in Madison. One of them actually moved. It's actually like really close to me. It's like right next to the it's right next to the Chinese restaurant, the Mexican Chinese restaurant that I go to every once in a blue moon. I went there last week. Seems like it's gotten better. Like when they first changed over, it seemed like it wasn't very good, but it seems like it's better now. That's Nerd Haven Arcade, but they're like one of those places where they charge you $15 for like 2 hours or something. Like, I don't like those. And I don't think the last time I went to it was like the other location. I took my niece there, and it was weird. Like they had the pinballs took coins, but everything else was just like 2 hours for $15. And there was no bar there, which is where the real money is made. Yeah, I didn't really like it. I don't know. Maybe I'll check out. I don't know. I don't really care about arcades or pinballs anymore. Because I've been like, yeah. So you program pinball for enough hours, you don't care about it. I don't think Culver's has a secret menu. Some bars have it in Michigan. Oh, really? The worst taxes. I lived in a state with no income tax, but worked in a state with income taxes. Oh, God. Yeah, that sounds like a mess. Yeah, that pot pie. I should probably like... You know what? It was only $6. It was big, too. It was probably like... Right? But yeah, it's like... Yeah, I probably shouldn't get that anymore. It was good, though, but... It's like immediate regret. KFC has poutine? Huh. Yeah, I think Nerd Haven was like $15 for like 2 hours or all day. I don't know which one it was. I don't know. But yeah, apparently they moved. Actually, the place they moved to used to be Pizza Oven. Or no, it wasn't Pizza Oven. What was it? No, Pizza Oven was right next to it. Because I remember like a million years ago when we had the first shop, we would go to Pizza Oven. Because the first shop, like where I live right now, the first shop was actually only about a mile that way. So Pizza Oven was over that way. So Pizza Oven had a Theater Magic. So we would go there for lunch and like play Theater Magic. But then Pizza Oven closed, and then now it's a place called Salvador's Pies. So it's a pizza place called Salvador's Pies, but they make like thin crust New York style pizza. I don't understand that. But it's good. Yeah, maybe I should go there more often. The pizza is really good. I used to like eat Tums all the time, but for whatever reason, I haven't had heartburn in years. I don't know what changed. I don't know. So I should probably just not eat pot pies. Could you someday show how the pinball machines are made? You know, all Lucky 7, there was actually many occasions where I wanted to actually make a video about making pinball machine rules. I just never got around to it. I don't know. It's like, it would probably be like a lot of screen caps. And the thing is, I would have to do it like, I couldn't do it for a game that hasn't been released yet. So it had to be like, I probably should have done it for Evil Dead. Like when I spent like a year adding modes to Evil Dead, I probably should have done it like that. That's when I should have done it. Because it's already released game, so it's okay if I talk about it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people would find it interesting because a lot of it's just boring work. Like the worst part is like, well, actually that's what I was doing today. Like polishing and fine tuning it. So like there's one final, well not the final mode, but like the code complete mode for Evil Dead is Hail to the King mode. So we did that. We did a community stream where Corwin did a stream, and he actually let the community like come up with the mode rules, and they wrote it all down in the document, and then they gave it to me, and I'm like, okay. So that's what I'm doing right now, and we're hoping to have that done by the end of the month. But it's like it's actually pretty quick to like just getting like, oh, here's the shots, and you shoot the shots, and the code goes. But the thing that really takes time is like making the screen displays and putting the text on the screen and putting the graphics on the screen and having the text change and the colors, and then like the sound effects and the light shows. Like the it's definitely like 80-20. It's like 80% polish and 20% rules. And I guess it's my fault because I'm like, oh, I can do all this. I don't need any help. I can do all this myself, like the sound effects and the graphics. And so I guess I just give myself more work. Yeah, maybe in the future, like, well, shit. Like the next game I'm working on won't even be announced until November of 2027. So I can't talk about it or anything until then. But I think we are going to add like a Midnight Madness mode to Evil Dead for like this Halloween update. So maybe I could document that. I mean, it's probably not going to be a big mode because like in the graphics in that game, like if you're in the location of the game where you're in the cabin and they have the clock on the wall, like I actually animated the hands to be correct to the system time. And so it was like, well, Corwin, I spent 3 hours programming that. And he's like, what? And I'm like, well, we'll have a Midnight Madness mode eventually to justify the time I spent making the clock accurate in the game. So maybe I could document that. I don't think it's going to be like a full mode. It would just be like some special stuff that would happen at midnight. Talk about the rules you would make for the Pokemon pin. I don't know anything about Pokemon. Apparently that's Stern's next game is Pokemon. I think they're showing it in Texas. Well, I was going through like earlier today. I did a couple more light shows because I did a light show. You know the part of the movie where he saws off the shotgun and he goes groovy, like in Evil Dead 2. So yeah, here's an example of like bullshit I have to do. So with the license, Evil Dead well, there's 2 licenses because it's the first and second movie. We can't use the soundtrack in either movie. We didn't get a divorced version of the movie, which means we have to remove the soundtrack or replace audio. So, and then we also can't show any human other than Bruce in the second movie. So we can show like the Deadite version of Henrietta, but we can't show the human version of Henrietta, and we can't show the blonde chick at all. But we could show like her boyfriend when he's in Deadite form, like with all the teeth. But then with the soundtrack, so when Bruce like cuts off the shotgun and says groovy, there's like a huge musical swell there. The music stops when he says groovy, but everything before that is like da 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 groovy. So I'm going to have to actually replace all the sound effects for that scene, and then put our music in the background, and then only bring in the audio when he says groovy. So that's like some boring work I have to do. It's like that stuff kind of sucks, but whatever. Like actually, someone on Pinside noticed it. There was, oh yeah, it was the part of the movie where he cuts off his hand, and he's like, "Who's laughing now?" And someone on Pinside was like, "Why did you re-record his voice for this?" And I'm like, "Oh, good catch," because he did a really good job of reproducing his voice in that scene. Because in the script we wrote, "Who's laughing now?" in the style of Evil Dead 2 when you chop off your hand. And then, yeah, he re-recorded that. But it goes back to, like, in the scene, there's, like, a ton of, like, soundtrack. Like, the soundtrack is, like, really overwhelming while he says that. So I actually had to, like, I put in his new recording voice of Who's Laughing Now, which he did pretty much perfectly. I don't even think I had to, like, quantize it or anything. And then I had to, like, do, like, the chainsaw pull and the chainsaw rev. I had to put all that in manually using sound effects. So I'm going to have to do the same thing for when he chops off the shotgun and says groovy. So that's something I've got to do to finish this mode. Very exciting stories, I know. So that's, I don't know if people would even want to see that some of it's really, really boring. And a lot of it's like, it's probably like 50% programming and 50% testing. I mean, other people test it as well, but like I just have to make sure everything works. And then it's like, oh, did I miss any sound effects? Should I add any more lighting effects? Should I run the shaker? So that's the kind of stuff, the fine-tuning stuff. Because just like setting up macros or whatever, where it's like, oh, this light's blinking, and when you shoot that shot, it's going to call a handler which executes other code. That part's actually pretty easy to do because it's all been set up. It's all like the glitz and glamour that takes the most time. It's probably, it's easily like 80-20. Does the Pinball have some or all the audio of the tape recorder? Yeah, we use that in cabin multi-ball. So it plays Klonda, 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 shut it off. And yeah. And then we also have, we had Scott Innes, who's a voice actor. He did some dialogue as the professor. So there's a tape recorder toy in the game. And so when we have the professor doesn't have a lot of dialogue. We should have done more. But when the professor says something, it's made crappy, so it sounds like it's from a tape recorder, and then the tape recorder runs. But we don't have a whole lot of professor in it. But we also have audio from the movie as well, although most of that's in the first movie. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I shouldn't really complain because like I got to write dialogue for Bruce Campbell and put it in a pinball machine, which I guess is really cool. But there's still a lot of boring bitch work you have to do, like I just described. So it's not always super cool. I mean, I don't even like think about it sometimes. It's like, oh wow, I got to do this, right? But yeah, you still have to. I guess that's the agony and the ecstasy, right? Like, yeah, you have to do all this like manual labor and audio stuff. Because I actually do. Corwin did some sound effects, but like probably like 95% of the sound effects in the Evil Dead game was done by me. Like I use like all these different like audio effects libraries, and then I do all the mixing and stuff. So I would use all the sound effect libraries I used to use on my movies and everything else. So yeah. And there's like certain sound effects I use over and over and over again. Like my favorite ones, like My all-time favorite one is it's called Sizzling. It's just a drop of water going into a hot skillet, so it goes like right. But you can use that for like people being burned or fuses, or I use it all the time. Like the other one I used a lot in Evil Dead was like 16 years ago. I had this apartment, and it had like these the windows were like spring loaded, so the windows had like springs on them. So when you lifted them up, the springs would pull the window up more easily or something. And so right before I moved, like the day before I moved out of that apartment, I recorded the windows because they made this really cool sound. Like when you open it, it would be like because it was like these, there's a spring on either side of the window inside of like the wall. So you got this really neat like metallic reverb with it. And I actually put that all over the place in the Evil Dead game. Like when you advance the modes and the ramps, it's like, and it's mixed with other stuff, but yes, it's the windows from my old apartment. And then just to like, I think, yes, I did hide a Wilhelm. There is a Wilhelm scream in one mode, but it's really subtle. Because if you just put the Wilhelm scream in just cold turkey, it's too obvious now. But it is in there. There's like sound effects from Posthumous Woman in there as well. I think there was like a line from Posthumous Woman we had Bruce say, or Posthumous Man, I think it was. I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to like, I mean, I don't know if people would find it that interesting, but like, yeah, I mean, if I did like a screen cap video, I'd be like, okay, well, I don't know, maybe someone would find that interesting. I'd probably have to ask Spooky if they're okay with it, but, yeah, like just like how to put the sound effects together, because I always tell like Luke Peters that, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to put, in any sound effect I put in the game is made from at least 3 different sounds. That's like my rule. Oh, yeah, so, okay, my beer's empty, so I probably should go here soon, but Sizzling I use a lot, and there's another one, which is, I think it's called like 22 Raspy. It's 22 being shot across a cornfield at night, and it's got this great sound. It goes, it's like this cool, like, go whap, it's like got those, like, it's got this great, like, it's got this great punch in the beginning, and then it's got this really good like echoey trail off, and it's at night, so there's like, well, there's no crickets. I don't know how, but it's a really good sound effect. I think I recorded it for like Port Washington, maybe, because of course it was me. Yes, it was me shooting a gun, but I use that one all the time. There's probably like 30 different uses of it in like Evil Dead, because the thing that's really good about, because well, I was inspired by like the 2000 DVD release of Terminator 2 has like this insane amount of like behind the scenes, and they talk about like how whenever he fires his gun, it's like 4 different guns put together, and I kind of drew from that, because like when you have like, if you have a gun, if you just have like a shotgun in a game, it doesn't sound very good. It sounds like right. So what you really have to do is you have to have, well, just like with the Terminator thing, you have to have different phases to it. So what I usually do is I use like the 22 Raspy 22 or whatever it's called, because it's got like this great report, because it's got like an initial crack, but it's not overmodulated. And then you hear like this immediate like reverb from like their surroundings, and then you also hear like the long distance fade out of it. So like if you have the Evil Dead, like if there's the shotgun sound effect, right? Like, well, there's 2 different ones. There's single barrel and double barrel. And if you do like, let's say it's standard shotgun, it does it starts with 22 Raspy, so it's like that sounds like. Again, this would be a lot better to just have a video and show it in Adobe Premiere and all the layers. It starts with 22 Raspy, so you like get like, I don't know, like 10 frames, or not even that, probably like 5 frames of like this 22, like a sharp sound. And then you go into like a more traditional shotgun, but not really. Because again, like 12 gauges don't sound that, they sound very non-distinct in reality, right? And then you always go into like a cannon or something with like a lot of bass and like a long trail off. So you have like some meat to it. But yeah, I always try to mix like at least 3 sound effects for everything. Because yeah, you want like a treble, then you want like a body, and then you want like a bass, and then something that trails off. That's what I usually try to do. So yeah, 22 raspy, sizzling, and then the window slide and close, I think it's called. Yeah. The other thing that's was kind of tricky with that, I was just working on this earlier today. Like this final mode, it's like you're in the lower play field and you're hitting targets and like because it's okay. The final mode is called Hail to the King, and what the audience came up with was they're like, you start out as a wimp because Ash is like a big wimp in the first movie. It's like wimp, man, king. So there's like a meter that goes up during the mode, or wuss, I think wuss, man, king. And so in the man mode, it's like you're collecting your weapons. So it's like, oh, you're in the lower play field and you have to like increase a meter to like collect the shotgun or whatever. So even then it's like I was like, okay, well, right? But in the movie, it's not a pump action shotgun. It's a single barrel in the first movie and a double barrel. So it's like you've got to make something that kind of sounds like a pump shotgun, but not really because it's not a pump shotgun in the movie. So that was like pistol trigger click plus. I think I did actually use a pump action sound effect, but then it turns into something else. So it's more like mechanical clicks rather than like. Yeah. So it would probably be better to, just make a video talking about this and, show the clips in Adobe Premiere. But yeah, I edited everything in Premiere. Yeah. Guns in reality don't sound nearly as interesting as guns in movies because the movies are fake. But yeah, it was really hard, like especially like in a pinball machine, like because you've got like music going in the background. So even if you play like a kind of like a sound effect version of a 12 gauge, it doesn't really sound very good. So you have to juice it up to like actually make it rise above the soundtrack. Because like if you just have like right, it blends into the music so well you almost don't hear it. Yeah, maybe I'll do it like for Halloween because if I do this final. Midnight Madness mode for Evil Dead. All right, I should probably get going because I gotta pee. But thanks to everyone who stopped by tonight, and maybe we'll see you next Monday. See ya.